Hello.
You gonna do your meeting from here?
Yes, I'm the host, yes.
Should I
So
do it at home or should I just come down here at
you can
1:30?
do it at home if you want.
Have you sent me I can't remember how to do it all. What time do you think you can do the foundation at 1:30
I hope so.
from here?
Mhm.
All right, I'll just come back at 1:30.
Okay,
All right,
sounds
sounds
good.
good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm not gonna be on the road.
That's right.
Did anybody else make it?
I think Kim's gonna walk over or come over, but
Here for the whole both meetings?
yep.
And how about Geraldine?
No, I think Danny's on Zoom right now.
Danny's on Zoom?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
catch you in a bit.
You know where the space heater in your office went?
I thought it was in here because it wasn't in there, but I don't know where it is now. No. Is it in the other room maybe?
It's so cold. Another.
We are on. I don't know if you want to be able to sit over here so you can watch the screen too, but I mean, you should be able to hear it. I'll log in on Zoom myself or just. But Al's watching me. Just be real quiet.
I believe you did.
Okay, sorry,
Can you hear me?
I thought I made it so people could do it, and apparently I made it so people couldn't, so I changed it back.
That's okay, perfect. I was like, this is weird. I don't know why I can't get in. Hello, Kim. Hello, Tracy.
Hello.
Hey, Danny.
How much snow at your house, Danny?
I would say a good 6 inches. I'm so bad about judging that though.
Oh, I know. Enough you have to
But
sweep
I don't
off
know.
the floor.
I mean, it's pretty piled up. It's drifting in some places, but not a ton yet.
Did the snow pans still fit this year?
What was that?
Did the kids' snow pans still fit this year?
So I did a little finagling beforehand. I normally do this before we go to Bozeman and then we can pick up stuff if we need to. And I did, and everything was good, but I didn't realize Delaney, the knees were kind of worn out on Delaney's, so I'll still need to get her a new pair. She'll be fine for now, but I just didn't see it.
Nice.
And then when they went out yesterday, they're like, well, I think we need new ones.
Did they wear out their knees on their snow pants?
Oh my goodness, especially Delaney. She is a winter queen. She loves it.
My daughter too. She was so mad that no one else was excited for snow.
Delaney, like we were driving home yesterday and she was like, I swear I can see the white. I can see the white. And we just kept, I was like, it's just a cloud. Like we'll get there, but it's not here yet.
Nice.
So the roads from Carter were horrible.
Just like pat snow on everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went about 50 or 55.
Yeah.
Usually
not fun.
Big Sandy's worse.
Yeah, I think, well, it started sooner, so, and it hasn't stopped, so I would assume that I mean, it sounded like they got quite a bit.
Sarah said that it rained all day yesterday, so then it's ice with snow on the top.
Cool.
Yay.
That is just, it's not fun. And I don't know, with the first snowstorm, I always get worried how prepared everybody is, would it be cleared up, because there's hiccups.
Yes. And it's so nice not to have to go anywhere. Use the technology.
Why not?
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen this side of it though, because I'm normally not looking at the screen. It's pretty cool with that panoramic and yeah, it's really cool. Oh, good, Big Sandy. Will we just stay on for the foundation meeting? Emily, you think that's the best?
Yeah. Roger just stopped by. He's gonna come back at 1:30. You learn all the things that you don't know how to do. When you do it this way.
Maybe you had a lot of people in the library today.
A surprising amount, yeah.
Huh.
So Emily, I'll talk you through it. If you open up the participants so you can see the list and you look for me and you rest your mouse over it, there's like 3 dots. And if you click on those, in our version, it has make co-host.
Okay. Oh, I just made you wait, cancel. I was just gonna make you a host. Do that too.
You could do that, but I think
Well,
you want your recording.
actually, Oh, just a minute, sorry. It jumps around. I have under your name for more, I have chat, stop video pin, spotlight for everyone, make host, rename, allow to join, multi-pin, put in waiting room, remove or report.
Okay, try making me a host. And then let me see if I can see where the breakout rooms is. And then I can, just gonna admit this person on the phone. So you may not have breakout rooms with your,
Well, and so that's, I think we're on like the bottom level of paid Zoom, so I think that's why I can't get transcripts either. Like we can do the closed captioning that's
Mhm.
recorded, but not necessarily a transcript, so I might have to look at going up a level, I
Yeah.
guess.
I changed it back to you.
Okay.
We can also, I suppose the other thing we could do is you could put a message saying the board's gone into executive session. I could start a Zoom, send the link to the board and you, and then you
Oh,
could join my Zoom.
okay,
Or you could just ask people if they would drop off and then, or you can put them in a waiting room. That's what you could do. You could put
I'll put
everybody
them in
who's
the
not,
waiting room.
yeah,
Okay.
everybody who's not a board member, you could put in the
Okay.
waiting room during the executive session.
Um, Janet, are you iPad 174? Or is that somebody else? If you're not Janet and you're iPad 174, I don't necessarily need to know who you are, but
I know I see all of you.
okay. Think anybody else.
So we have Janet and Nancy. Are you on the phone?
Yep, I'm on my phone.
So we need Nona.
Oh, thank you.
Wait a couple more minutes for Nona. I think she was planning on getting on, so. All right. I think Nona's just going to work on it and join us when she can. So, Emily, are you ready to go forward?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then let's call this meeting to order at 12:08. Reminder, this is being recorded. And we'll go into public comment items on the agenda.
I'm not sure how to do this. Can you hear me?
I can, Michelle. Hello.
Hello, it's good to see you all. I didn't know if
Good
this
to
was
see
the
you.
correct spot, but I was gonna maybe add to the agenda. Emily gave me the 2-year book list, and then I was charged for it. That wasn't necessarily necessary, I don't think, since you requested it, but I was gonna ask if it could be on the agenda, if we could add to that book list every month so that we know what's being bought every month so that we can know like, hey, they bought our books or whatnot. So I was just going to add that maybe to the agenda if we could talk about that.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So I think that would go on the next agenda, right? Am I under the,
Okay.
like if we talk about it and then we put a, Tracy, you want to jump in there?
Actually, you could let Emily answer that question.
Okay.
You would not want to take action.
Right,
But to
right.
answer the question, it's totally fine to answer the question. You don't have to wait till the next agenda.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So Emily, go ahead.
So Maren is printing those off as she makes orders.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I will make sure that that gets up there too.
It or a copy for Big Sandy, you're saying?
Yes, yep, I will make sure it gets to Big Sandy also.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Any other public comment on the agenda?
Okay, sorry, just adding on. Trying to keep track of it all. So.
Emily, was the agenda posted on the website, right?
Yes. So it's under, if you go to the trustee page and scroll down, it's under like the meeting months. The agenda is the link on the October, thank you. So September should have draft minutes.
So Shannon, to answer your question to that, if you pull up the Chouteau County Library website, you should be able to look at the agenda. All right. So I would like to entertain a motion then to go on with the agenda, approve the agenda. Is that right? I'm sorry, I'm out of it.
I don't think we have to approve the agenda. You just. start to
Okay,
move-
some meetings do, some meetings don't.
I know.
I wasn't sure if we talked about that and I missed it at the last meeting that we went to.
No, I don't, she didn't say that. I don't.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go on to minutes, which would be the September 27th minutes. The only thing that I had a question on was under public comment B. I don't remember Bill saying appointment to the committee doesn't happen until we get a reconsideration form. I'm pretty sure that's what the board said. So but I don't remember. I don't know if we want to look back on that before. Because he was asking, when does
Yeah,
that,
so that was your answer. Yeah, I will add that or change that. So his question was just what happened with the library overview committee, and then the rest of that
Right.
was the answer.
then
So
that was the answer.
I will change that to reflect that. Thank you.
And then under Michelle's, if we are going to continue to put, I really like the idea of just putting in the transcript or see Zoom attachment, because like that's kind of what I've been asking for the whole time. But if we're going to write them out, it goes from like first person to third person. So I'm not. Does anybody else catch that?
Yes.
Okay, so. Yes, I think that what Ashley said was that while minutes do record action, that they also, you don't do word for word, but the overall general idea. So how about I try to change that to just a briefer statement? Does that make sense?
I think that'd be great, because then it doesn't sound like, I just don't, I want, if we're going to go off of what Michelle has said, that's great, but then she didn't ever talk in the third person, but I'm reading third person in here. So that, I think just summarizing that, and then we have the Zoom, we have the recording to back that up. If people want to go, if we need to go back, or if people need to listen again, or, you know, going forward. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Those are my only two things on the agenda, excuse me, on the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as,
Let's make
Correct.
sure that the public can speak. Anybody
Okay.
else have any?
Okay,
Sorry, I love it, Kim. Just we're gonna take it slow. All right, then I will, I would like to entertain the motion to approve the minutes with said changes.
That's you.
I move that we approve the minutes with the aforementioned changes.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, and on to budget.
I had a question. There are a couple line items that are 71% used up. And I can't access it right now because I'm on my phone and I can't get it. But I wondered if they're just one-off payments that we have to make. And
So let me, I
Like
can address that. 'Cause I did-
publicity and subscription.
So part of that is because the librarian bill came through and it was just under $1,000. And it was actually supposed to be in come out of a different account. So I talked with Cheryl and that will be changed for, like that will. It's called
Switch line item.
a switch a line item, a JB. I can't remember what it stands for right now, but so that is
Okay.
why that one is, because we have 8,200 in there. If you take 1,000 out of that, that jumps you right up. So,
That's huge.
So that's, yes, that's that one.
Okay, thanks. That was just my question.
And then under,
Geraldine's the same.
well,
It
Geraldine's
was
is under books.
public
I mean, that's
publicity
just,
subscriptions and something. I see.
well, in the Geraldine one, it's under their 322. That's their book buying one. And we've been working on updating their nonfiction, and nonfiction's really expensive. So that will be one that we will need to look at. The next time the budget comes around. But
Then same for state aid and library pathfinder federation grant.
right, so those I found out at the close of the budget year, like that's monies that need to be spent.
Okay.
And so I just made, because I didn't code stuff correctly the last fiscal year. So then you front load those and make sure
Okay.
that you use that money that you have to use. So,
Okay.
yeah.
We think we had talked, and this was before you, Emily, of, so I don't know if we passed this on to you or not, of having to come to the board with anything that's over 500 for like,
Repairs?
no, yeah, repairs too, kind of anything. I mean, even to, what's, I'm sorry, guys, I'm having such an off day. All of the things that you do to bringing in services and that's called
Training.
training.
Any sort
like
of new
the Empower
purchases?
Montana, like community services that you're bringing into. I believe that there was like a 500, talk to the board if it's going to be above that. So going forward, maybe we can implement that again.
Yes,
Okay.
I was looking at it more as long as I was staying within the
No,
budget.
I know, which is great, and I'm so glad that you pay attention to that, because that's fantastic, and that's the ultimate goal. But I think just bringing it to the board so we're aware of where the funds are going and what's going on would be awesome.
so Nona was gonna ask the question about the $1,200, whether that was how that is being paid. Is there a different bill each month?
I don't understand.
Okay,
That's
I
a
hear
one-time fee.
a one-time fee for Empower Montana.
Yes.
Okay,
How many
Including
times?
upcoming events.
I mean, yeah.
So
So
for how
how
many
many-
times? Sorry.
4 events?
No, that was their one, like they came that day. And so that pays for their travel. They gave us a discount, a nonprofit discount, and then we were able to pay less in travel because they were on their way to Havre. So,
So $1,200 for one event,
yes,
one time. Okay. Are you having them come back again? For $1,200?
no,
Okay.
so your speakers in November, are there costs on those?
that's through Humanities Montana. And I think it's, Tracy, you can maybe help me out, a $75 fee for Humanities Montana or something.
I do not know, Emily. I know it's cheap, but I don't
It's
remember.
not, I mean, it's.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure
it's
it's below the
basically
500.
free. It's like an in-kind, because the speaker, because I got the paperwork about reimbursement for lodging and travel, and I reached out to Humanities Montana about that, and she said, oh no, that's the speaker turns that into Humanities Montana, and it's paid that way. So
Thank
it's
you.
under 100.
Which is awesome. I think the 500 is a good place to start. All right, any other questions on the budget?
No, no, stop it.
All right, then I would like to entertain. Oh, go ahead, somebody. Nope. All right, then I would like to entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I move we approve the budget as presented.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, branch reports.
So this is for September. For Big Sandy, their theme was library card sign up month. They've been working on sorting the shelves and making sure everything is in the system correctly. They did not give me any needs or concerns on that report. Fort Benton themes included autumn, dragons, knights and castles, fairy tales, careers, Hispanic Heritage Month, ADHD and neurodiversity, Constitution Week, sing-along books, addiction and sobriety, and for the YA it was sports. Projects included, we had our official launch of Friends of the Library. August was a soft launch interest meeting, so September we got started. Carolyn has been working on People for Periodicals, which is now wrapped up. And then I've been working with the IRS person to get the tax program, hopefully to be able to launch this spring. In Geraldine, themes were positive mindset and personal growth and no current projects. And she needed clear labels for the book. So we got that on.
Fantastic.
For good vibes, I can say that there's a really nice Halloween display upstairs with an assortment of happy Halloween books, not just scary ones, which my kids still appreciate. And I like that it's not all spooky, gory stuff.
Totally agree. I
Yeah,
don't like the spooky gory stuff either.
yeah.
Last week I was at the Big Sandy Library when a number of parents came in with their children for crafting time. The photos of what they did were online on the Facebook, and I was actually able to see all their excitement, and the mothers sat and visited, and it was delightful.
That's cool. That's awesome. All right, then moving on to director's report, if you're ready, Emily.
Yes, I don't have a whole lot outside of the branch report. I would like to talk about the Ashley Kent who came last Wednesday to the library. She is with MSU Extension and she does board trainings for all kinds of boards, government boards, nonprofit, volunteer. There was a number of people from the Golden Age Center board that came. There were some people from the Lions board. I think some people that are on different church boards, and then Nancy and Danny were there. So that was a really great training. She has, I believe they're called micro trainings, 5 to 7 or 7 to 10 minute videos that are for boards to use for their own continuing education. There were 5, I think, that she said would work really well for for our board, and that's part of the state library. I don't want to say certification, but standards maybe, that trustees get a set number of hours each year for board training. So that would work for that kind of training. So that's why things were kind of a little bit different this month. We were posting wrong, advertising wrong, and our agendas were not quite as detailed as they needed to be. So I would like to thank everyone for their patience as we're working through this. And it might seem weird and different and not necessarily scary, but just uncomfortable as we move through these changes that need to be made to make sure that we're serving the public the way that the public deserves to be served. So that's what I have for that.
Great. I'm super excited about adding those. We will probably start adding those little 7 to 10 minute classes into our actual meeting to make sure that we all get them. I don't think that's a huge amount of time, and I think that it will be a great way for us to all do it together. So going forward, we'll start seeing those. I mean, one at a time. We're not going to do like 30 minutes. It's just going to be one at a time until we get through them.
I liked it, because I had people asking about it because it had been advertised, and I like to think about it not as just training for people who are on the boards, but for the public. So like if we're doing a Zoom or if people are in person, we do these trainings, then citizens know their rights and what to expect from their boards also. And there's an accountability piece, and then everybody who gets the training is on the same page and understands why things work. We talked about freedom of speech and First Amendment rights, and while we all do, or the whole board has those rights, once you become part of a board, it becomes your responsibility then to ensure the rights of the public, the individual rights. So it shifts that a little bit. I don't want to say you lose your freedom of speech when you're on a board, but you are on the other side of it. So it was really interesting. She obviously explained it a lot better because she does it all the time. But that was one of the takeaways I had.
Yeah, it was a really cool program. That was the word I was looking for earlier. So I guess go up to good vibes again. I loved it. It was awesome. Way to bring in Ashley from Extension for that knowledge, Emily. Thank you. All right. Announcements and dates to remember.
Veterans Day on the 10th, that Friday, all the branches are closed. Community conversation with Courtney Cowgill I talked about this a little bit before, but with Humanities Montana. So that's a Monday evening, so 5:30 here. Again, that's minimal cost. I believe it's $75. We do not pay for travel or lodging or food for that event. And so Monday night is going to be a panel with Courtney and Bethany DeVord, talking about local news and the importance of that. And then Tuesday at noon, because I've been trying to do different days, different times to allow for people to come. Her segment is called Newstrition. So it talks about how you get your news locally and how to be able to support that and to enhance that. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great program. And those are free and open to the public, just like all of our programs. So.
Sounds great. All right, unfinished business.
I apologize for not getting the Zoom one on there. It's part of the packet. I just didn't literally type it on the paper.
It's okay. I didn't catch it either until we are like, oh, let's do it by Zoom. And I'm like, what? We don't even have it on the agenda.
Yeah. So it should have been in the stuff that I sent, and then in the hard copies that are here, it's all printed out, so. I apologize.
So we'll wait till next time to do that, and maybe we'll set it at the beginning of the agenda so that we can approve that. Because I think we'll have some people zooming, a board member zooming next time too. So then we can have that in place for the rest of the meeting, is my thought on that.
Yeah.
And these are all first readings, right, Emily?
Yes.
Collection development policy. Continue education and library privilege policy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's open up some discussion, I guess, on the first one, collection development policy.
Adding some context, oh, I'm sorry, this was created with Pam Henley with the state when she came to Fort Benton, so we sat with her. Danny did a ton of front end work on that and put together the overall document, and then Pam helped us to clean it up. So thank you, Danny, for that.
Of course, and Pam.
I think for the actual kind of cleanup drafting, there was what, Danny, Nancy, myself, Emily.
Yeah.
Am I forgetting anyone? Okay,
With Pam, yeah.
yeah. And I'd say it took almost 2 hours going through it.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty thorough.
And all of that, for those of you that need a copy of it, it should also be available on the website, right?
Right.
Yep. So you guys can pull that up, as community members and look at it. We would love to hear from you too.
And then there are printed copies of each of these available at each branch. Or there should be,
Yes.
if people don't want to look at it online.
Last week when I was in Big Sandy, I took up my policy manual because we were looking at a policy that Danny asked me to check with Darlene, and they didn't have any of the policies. And so I copied the ones that had been already approved.
Yes, that's one of the things that the policy committee we're gonna work on is make sure we get that table of contents and getting them done. So I want to be able to put those together in binders for each branch. So that is a work in progress, but they are available on the web page, everything that we have approved.
Thank you, Janet.
I don't know is the public allowed to comment right now?
On the collection development policy, yes.
Okay, thank you. I will read through that. I appreciate you putting it on the website. I know I just glanced through it really quickly and I was just noticing it does in like the graphic novel section mention what is deemed appropriate. So I was just going to ask for a definition, or if there is a definition for that.
For appropriate,
Yeah, in the young adult graphic novel section. It says the collection or materials requested or purchased that are not appropriate for young adult audience will be placed in the adult nonfiction graphic novel collection. And I was just curious if there was a definition for that.
Great question, Michelle. What do you think, Emily? Have we come up with a definition for that?
I don't think we could come up with a hard line. Like
Probably not a hard line.
Yeah,
But a guideline, maybe we could work on.
I don't need an answer today. I was just gonna make comment of it and I will read through the rest of the policy, but I appreciate you ladies working on that.
Awesome, thank you, Michelle.
yeah, I think the closest we came up to on that would be our criteria for selection. I think we, if I remember correctly, we kind of tried to address, which is on the back of the first page. Which once again, it doesn't have, you know, any sort of a checklist of what can be there or can't be there, but I think we tried to address verbally that content.
Criteria for selection.
Yeah. Yeah, was the second to last sentence, no criteria are absolute and totally satisfactory. During the selection procedure, rarely is every specific principle applied. Therefore, an item need not meet all of the criteria in order to be acceptable. I think that was the best we could come up with.
And then, so there's, yeah, so the list that is continues on, general
Okay.
criteria for selection.
Okay, and then at the start of the second page, there's general criteria for selection. If I remember that day right, I think part of the whole point of some of that section was to address how to choose and how to evaluate if materials were appropriate for our library or not.
Thanks, Kim. All right, well, this is the first reading, so we'll bring it back around again once everybody has a chance to look at it on the website and read through it thoroughly. Ready to move on to the next one.
Continuing education.
There we go, continuing education. Which again, first reading. But let's have some discussion.
It seems pretty basic, but it covers the bases. I think we had some discussion in an earlier meeting about we would have policies, and then we would have procedures that would break out the more detailed aspects. Is that kind of what we're thinking here?
Yeah, I think just to define it a little bit more.
Okay, that way we can have maybe a procedure that lists whatever the current requirements are for continuing education instead of having to change the policy all the time.
I think that's a good idea. So we'll send it back to the committee.
You don't want to approve it today?
I don't want to approve anything without the Zoom meeting policy in place.
And
That's
it's just the
policy.
first-
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
And it's
We're
the
not
first
set up
reading.
yet to like, I mean, voting for the minutes and the budget is different than voting for policy over all of us over Zoom. I'd really like that Zoom policy in place before we go forward with that. So I would prefer not to approve it today. It's a first reading, so we have time. And I think that we should come up with the whole thing together, the policy plus the procedure to present to the board as the committee. When I say we, I mean the committee should do that.
Thank you, Danny.
What do you think, Kim? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So the committee will work on that. Next one. Is loss of
Or-
library privileges policy. Again, this is the first reading too. I do think it looks great, but
Yeah.
we'll let it sit for a month with, and think about it.
And one thing to keep in mind, like especially with policies like this, policies are in place to protect both the library and the staff plus the patrons, right? So it's laid out. That doesn't mean it's a hard and fast, black and white. If your book is 3 days overdue, you no longer get to come to the library. It's not like that at all. Like every case is going to have its nuance. And so, but as we found, if you don't have a policy in place, that's when we get into trouble. So I don't want anyone to think this is not a punitive policy, I guess would be the way to word it, like we're not looking to punish people. We're giving guidance.
Thank you, Emily. That was great.
So I just got a text that Nona is on iPhone 8. If you'll let her in.
That's not showing up. I've been trying to watch the box and it's not.
Well, I
Not
think
on your list.
she's already in, if iPhone 8's there. I have iPhone 8 on mine.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
There it is. Yeah.
So are we looking at the Zoom policy today, or are we gonna wait on that one?
Well,
Well, I
it's not on the
didn't-
agenda, but
Okay.
it's everywhere, but it's the only place it's not is on the agenda. So we'll just
Nice.
wait and we'll put it at the beginning of the agenda next
Check.
meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
it has been discussed, so it could be old business, but yes.
But since it wasn't on the agenda, we can't take action.
And we forgot to add it at the start of the meeting.
Okay,
And really Ashley said that we can't even do that because
As
that
a
doesn't
board.
give the public. It's all about the public having notice, so
Okay.
Time.
that's gonna be one of the things that's awkward. Is it's all about public access,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Should we move
And then
on
I put the
to,
next, that next part, I wasn't sure if Nona was gonna be able to present on this or not, but I wanted to have it on there just in case. So I remembered that, but not the Zoom.
so Nona, do you have an update? No pressure, but do you have an update on the gutter project and door for Big Sandy? You might need to unmute yourself.
Nona did give me a handwritten in case she couldn't get on.
I see iPhone 8. She's muted.
So what she said, she's talked with both the people who are working on the project. All the parts have been ordered, and they said they will get the projects done as soon as they can get the parts. That's what she wrote to me.
Sounds great.
That's awesome. Perfect. We probably talked about this with the agenda also. Do we want to move the public comment before executive session? I didn't think about that, so they don't have to.
She said that you could still, we could leave it this way. I don't know. And then I think, and maybe Tracy chime in, so like would the new business, if I didn't have any new business to bring, or we didn't as we develop the agenda, is this a time if somebody thought of something, we can add it as new business? You just can't take any action. Is that, am I on the right track? Am I not on the right track?
Yeah, you are on the right track. So new business, if you don't have anything that you're adding ahead of time, like for instance, if someone from the public had something they wanted you to consider, you could certainly discuss it here, but of course, no action until next time. And in terms of the public comment, as a courtesy, you could certainly ask if anyone has any public comment on items not on the agenda, then go into executive session with an estimate and then come back, because you have to come back anyway into open meeting format, and then just call for any final public comment before the final next meeting item and adjourning, if that helps.
Totally. Okay, so any new business?
Sorry, it's Michelle again. I was gonna ask if there was any work for assuring protection for people filling out the reconsideration forms. And then also I was gonna ask if there was gonna be a follow-up meeting, Danny, just like we had September 25th, if there was gonna be anything like that, or if you feel like that's necessary at this point going forward.
Did you say protection, Michelle?
Yeah, we talked about it at the last meeting, or I was gonna bring it up, maybe I didn't talk about it. Just filling out the reconsideration forms. My concern was that people could be potentially prosecuted for filing against a book with their private contact information on that sheet. So I was just curious what the board was gonna do in order to protect citizens to be able to feel comfortable bringing their concerns forth without feeling a threat of litigation.
So I don't think those are public documents. Those would fall under library privacy. So I would not press charges. Is that what you're asking? Like, and I'm not going to
Let's see if Tracy, have you ever heard of this happening? I assume this is a similar system in most libraries.
Yeah, most people, because Danny had asked me this question, and in today's society, I have to answer it with people can sue you for whatever. However, filing a form in and of itself shouldn't result in litigation. That's just the individual's request that the library look at a different book. What other libraries will do is they will redact any private information so that just the request for reconsideration form, typically they just share it in-house, but if they get a public records request, they do kind of have to share it because it's not tied to what the person checked out. It's a request that they've done formally that has to go through that public meeting process. But Michelle, they can redact that information so that the person's private information doesn't display. And it's your right to request whatever. don't think any library has ever chosen to engage in litigation. I can't promise that there wouldn't be another private citizen that might attempt it, but I've never heard of that happening. Doesn't mean it wouldn't. We live in interesting times. Does that help answer the question?
No, that definitely helps me understand. I appreciate that, Tracy. Yeah, that was one of my main concerns with filling out the sheets or even encouraging people to fill out the sheets without their, their patrons with genuine concerns. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that. And I think going forward, just knowing the uncertainty of our times, the board just needs to be aware that there might be people that don't fill out those sheets for those purposes. But I can't say that for fact. I just want to throw it out there that it's a possibility.
So when it goes to say it goes to a committee, that personal information can be redacted at that point, right?
Yep, it can, Danny. Typically, the committee will see the name of the person just because then they have the ability to follow up with that person just to ask questions, not for any punitive reasons, but to understand that person's perspective. So the committee usually does know who filed the complaint.
Okay. Thanks so much, Tracy.
Yeah, you bet.
And as far as another meeting, I mean, I'm always up for communication. I felt like it was fantastic. But Michelle, for sure, reach out.
And I thought we had talked about, since Judy was going to be gone, to try to find a date after she got back before you left, Michelle, for the three of us to meet. I thought
Yes.
had been decided on.
I remember that. Thank you,
Okay.
Emily.
Yes, thank you for that reminder. I wasn't sure. I had not gotten any follow-up. So that's yes. And actually I won't be leaving on my trip, so I will have time to do that. So I appreciate you ladies being willing to do that. I'll look forward to that meeting.
All right. So let's ask for public comment items not on the agenda, but still will be under jurisdiction of the board. If anybody wants to talk now, or you can wait till after we're come out of executive session. All right, then. We're going to move the board, and Emily are going to, and we're going to invite Tracy Cook also to go into executive session with us. And we'll be back in about 20-25 minutes. And I don't know how to do that, Emily.
I am working on it. So Janet, your iPad 174, correct?
Yes. Yes, correct. And
Thank
Nona,
you.
iPhone 8.
Okay, so let me. And then Nancy, are you the 7508275?
Oh, she's muted, but I see her face there.
Mhm. She is.
Okay.
That's her cell phone, so.
Yeah. Yes, that's me.
Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4,
And Nona,
5,
that's you, right? We haven't heard your voice yet. Nona, let's hear your voice.
and 6.
There it is.
This is my voice?
Your
is
that
voice,
right?
how's
Can
the
you hear it?
shoulder?
Sore. I got
I
my
bet.
pain pill tucked in here and I have this huge sling thing, but I'm okay. I'm staying with my mom for a couple days because it's just easier. So you can see me though? Oh, God forbid. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
you can hear
can't
me?
see you, but we can hear you, which is, it's, if that's what you want, then that's great.
I hope your recovery's going well.
That's fine, because well, it's a brand new day. For yesterday was first, and they did a blocker, and I thought my arm was dead, but it's back to normal. So
You
I'm
must have got the
okay.
block. They
So
tell you to get that block.
I can
It's the
listen to
best.
the if you want, and whatever. Okay, I'm here
All
somewhere,
right, perfect.
right?
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better. You're cutting out, but we'll be all right.
Oh, I did, and it lasted. I went to bed, and I'm taking my painkillers. So
No, too messy.
okay, third button, recording. I'm very new at this, Danny.
You're
okay.
recording it. I don't
It
think you
says
need to
my
record
thing,
it.
my microphone is unmuted. Your video is stopped, and it's
Oh, now your microphone's muted. But we're gonna let
okay. I'm gonna
Great.
unmute it, and I'll just listen.
Okay.
Done speaking. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we're glad you're here.
All right, we'll just go back here. I'm back
All
here,
right.
Danny. You can hear me a little bit?
Yes. Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
all right. Okay, now I can't hear you.
Oh,
There they
no.
are. Can you guys hear me? Danny can.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Oh, I
Me
have
too.
to turn to mom's. No, this is my phone. I don't
All
know,
right.
guys, just go, and I'm gonna work, when we have another meeting, I'll figure it out, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Tracy, do you kind of have a
I do.
setup of what you want to
Yep.
talk about?
Definitely. Emily, I just wanted to ask you, it's totally okay to
Mine
record
cannot
it,
be lowered to
but
zero,
I
okay.
didn't know if you wanted to stop the recording, because if you posted this online, all of this would be there. So just, it's totally fine either way.
Okay.
Just wanted to warn you of that. I don't mind it being recorded, but I didn't know if you wanted that.
Okay. Also, do we need to remind everyone that no one else should be in the room with them while they're on the Zoom call for
Yeah.
privacy?
Yeah, that would be great, just for
That's a
Emily's
great
sake.
idea. Never thought about it.
It's very weird when you're in Zoom.
Yeah.
You can't control
Good
for all
job,
those
Kim.
things.
That was excellent. Yanni's here, but he's sleeping. He won't tell anybody anything.
Shall I go ahead, Emily, or you trying to stop the recording?
Yeah, I would stop the
Um,
recording.
Okay, so, or do I pause recording so that I
Yeah.
can,
Pause would be
play
good.
it, right? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently Nona was on the end of that list. Sorry about that.
All right, you show me when you've got everybody.
I think so. There's not anybody on the.
All right, so before we adjourn, we'll take public comment again if anybody thought of anything. Items not on the agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board.
Do we want to talk about that next meeting date before? I just
Oh,
want to
yeah,
decide
I was
that
just given a couple
before.
of minutes.
I know, and that's fine. I just want to make sure before you adjourn.
Oh, okay, yes, the next meeting is going to be at noon, Wednesday, November 15th, which is the third Wednesday instead of the fourth Wednesday because of Thanksgiving in Fort Benton. And I think with that, we can probably adjourn at 1:56. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
And then Tracy, I just should leave this running. People can stay for the foundation if they'd like.
Exactly right. I mean, you
Okay,
could stop
Roger.
the recording if you want, just so
Oh,
that,
for the in-between. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it again. All the things I'm learning.
Hey, Roger.
So, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Did you bring me a milkshake today?
No. I imagine it's not a very busy day for milkshakes, but coffee, yes.
I was over to Geraldine for milkshakes,
Uh-huh.
and she was there with her 3 little kids.
Oh.
3 little kids. So,
It's always a time for milkshakes.
yeah.
The feathers, I guess.
I think I printed off.
Oh, you printed it. Look at you, Roger.
So there's like a Mark Twain short story about a guy who wanted a beer and a shake, but he drove to the next town, so it wasn't embarrassing him locally.
I remember getting ice cream and corn when whiskey. Those were the days.
And Brandy always have some sort of random one. A real specific brown. My uncle used to, and I'm thinking, you were wrong. When did this happen? The only one I've ever seen that family.
No.
I have no idea. Looks like it, huh? Yeah, the savings accounts, impressive.
Yeah.
I'm ready when everybody else is ready to start this foundation meeting.
I'm ready.
Already.
Okay. It's 2:06. So first on the line is our public discussion for items on the agenda. Do we have any comments from the public? This is being recorded. Danny, I don't think you're on.
I'm here.
Okay. So we're starting the meeting. I was asking for any public discussion on items that were on the agenda, please. So the next thing will be approval of the July 26th meeting minutes. They're kind of an abbreviated minutes, and we did receive them online.
I move to accept.
I second.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved and seconded. So do we have a treasurer's report from Tanya?
Just the reports that she sent out, that I sent via email.
Okay,
It's hard to plan, to be able to plan for her to come, since the time, we can't necessarily start at a certain time. Since we follow the other meeting, so.
I have one question. From the report. Do I read right that we have $313,000 in our savings account?
I believe that is correct. And of that account, there is 5,000 that's been allocated and given by the Liberty Water grant for windows.
Do we have all that money invested in a savings account, or do we have CDs?
I believe that they are invested in a savings account.
So we're not getting much interest.
Well, of course, when that was happening, we weren't getting interest, but you are correct.
Is that something we should be considering, to take some of that money and get a better rate? If we're not gonna immediately use that 313,000?
Definitely. That would have been a good question for Ron when he was on the foundation board.
Well, I think it's a good question now,
Yes.
because the interest rates on some of those are anywhere from 4 to 5%. Makes a lot of difference when you start looking at that much money.
Would you like to form a committee?
Sure.
He would not mind forming a committee because this is his last foundation meeting.
I think they should. Well, at least to talk to the two banks and see what you could do.
That makes sense. Or if you want to look at an online bank, some of the online banks have 4% interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Even credit cards. So, well, you're still on, Ron, until the 1st of January.
Or even a money market would give you more than what you don't want to invest your term long term.
Yeah.
I would want to stay as local as we can. Just
Okay.
instead of online. Not because it's on, I just like the local aspect of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do we have a bank in Geraldine yet?
We've had a bank. What are you
Well, I know
talking
you have a bank. I'm asking, do you have a bank?
Do we
Yes.
have yes, we still have a bank.
Yes. And Big Sandy has a bank also.
We could plan against each other.
Well,
Well,
it'd
if
be
somebody
great.
would join me, I'd be willing to look into it over the next month.
I'll join you.
Okay, would that be all right?
Thank you.
We'll bring it back to the committee at whenever,
Yeah.
after the first of the year. Is
Well,
that
you're
when
on-
we meet again?
January.
January?
Yeah.
That'd be my last
So
one.
should I move? Should I make a motion to,
Would you please?
I move that we form a committee to look at our savings account, and better better invest our money.
I second.
It is moved and seconded that we have a committee formed to check with consolidating or getting interest on our monies. So the next one is announcements or dates to remember.
So is it okay that Kim and I are that committee?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So I believe do we have a vote? Is there anyone? Yays?
Yay.
Days.
Anyone with nays? So approved. The next one I have is the announcements or dates to remember. That's December 1st and 2nd, the Chouteau County Christmas book sale and open house.
So normally for Ben and Big Sandy, I have it on the foundation one, even though it's in December, because monies from book sales go into the through the foundation account, so that's why I have that on here.
Thank you, Emily.
Is that a 2-day event, Emily?
Yeah, usually all day, open hours Friday and then 4 hours on Saturday. Yeah.
Do we need volunteers for that?
We can always use more volunteers. Also, at least in Fort Benton, the Friends of the Library, we're working on getting that scheduled too, so you wouldn't necessarily have to sit here for 4 hours anymore, maybe just one.
Or not bad, you can, yes, a lot of people.
True.
Now, does Big Sandy have that at the same day?
As far as I know,
Yes, they have.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say historically, that's what it's been, so I just made the assumption, which is bad on me, but. Thank you, Janet.
So we have unfinished business, which is the Lippert Clywater grants. Do you want to talk about that, Kim?
We turned in the grants, about 1 day early. We did tracking on the packet, so it should have got there, but it was definitely postmarked prior to deadline. I have not heard anything back, but I don't know if I would be the person to hear back. Janet, about how long does it take them to decide?
You know, usually it's 6 weeks.
Okay,
And then generally, it seems to be that it hits the River Press even before we get the letter. So check your River Presses.
okay.
How much do we ask for, Kim?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't a huge amount. And in there, I made a note that we hadn't purchased all items requested from the last grant cycle. And so in a good faith effort, we were not requesting as much as we could. We talked about possibly for the next grant cycle, if nothing's moved with Highwood, considering doing a bookmobile or some sort of a one large request. But for this one, we kind of did the request list and we tried to knock off all like the little stuff. I know, like, I think Geraldine was gonna request earbuds. And so instead of that, we left that out and just figured we'd do general funds, but we did that. We had one other grant that was a national grant for children's books, and I haven't heard back from that either.
Thank you for writing those, Kim.
Hey,
Yes.
they were pretty simple. The gal at the state library is looking for other ones to apply to, but haven't heard yet.
Do we have any information? It just sparked a memory of unspent funds from last year is the shed. And I need to call the shed guy. I've got that on my list of things to do, but I need to know what size to get a price. Does anybody know what size we came up with last year from that we asked for? Or does anybody have the amount that we set aside for the
Yeah.
shed?
I think I gave it. I will look that up again. But
Because
it
that would
was-
get me close
it
to the
was
size. If I have the,
It
if I have
was
the
9,
price, maybe
yeah.
I can get the size.
Danny, it was 9,500.
Okay. Does
But
that
we were not,
include
no,
sorry.
we weren't thinking about the concrete because they were hoping to be able to put it on a foundation that it could later be moved should you get your extra room. But but we can talk about that today and certainly can put that forward for concrete.
Sorry, probably the wrong spot to put that. I apologize.
No, this is where it should be. I mean, that's what we're
This
talking
is-
about.
Yeah.
It's the Lippert Claywitter monies.
Okay.
So I think we're within, yeah.
Yes.
So
and
the
then-
9,500 would just be for the shed. It would be no dirt work. It was just for the
No,
shed.
it was for the shed and shelving inside the shed.
Okay.
I
and
can-
shelving.
I have that in a separate book.
Did we have shelving picked out? Does that just need to be ordered?
Right, we didn't want to order it because there would be no place to put it if there's no shed.
That's
So-
a really good point.
Yeah, that was because I was all ready to get it ordered and Sammy Joe's like, I don't know where you want me to put the shelves. I was like, that's true.
But we have something specifically picked out, and you have the amount of that, so then we can deduct that from my 9,500, so I know what I
I
can
think
give the
the
shed guy.
shelving, was the shelving separate though? Was, Janet, was the 9,500 for the shed itself?
I'm going to get my, I have a separate book for the grants, so I'll run get it.
Thanks, Janet.
Okay, I'm back. Shows here, we requested 9,950. And that was a children's reading program for 2 tables, 1 true drawer chest and signage, and that came to 430. But the other one was 9,520 storage shed, shelves, and the periodical magazine boxes.
And I think we got those separate.
Okay,
the-
so
the
that was
boxes.
that was 9,520, and the 430 was for the 2 drawer chest and the signage.
So then I probably just need a price on those shelves, so then I can deduct that.
Yes.
So I'll try to find
think-
that, Danny.
Yeah, and there was some sort of periodical magazine boxes, but I believe that Darlene said they had a lot left over, and they're a certain size. So that's just what I recall. It's not written in
Well,
my-
we're talking about the Geraldine one though.
right.
So that would be separate from Darlene, right?
Yeah, but Darlene said she had some that they weren't using.
Yeah,
That-
no, we had gotten some for Sammy Joe, but not out of the liquid play winter money. I was able to do that
Okay.
just out of regular operating funds last year.
Okay, okay. So you got the funds.
Thank
So
you. So I will call shed guy as soon as I know what, after taking the shelving out, because then that'll give me the size that I'm looking for, because since we just asked for a dollar amount, we didn't ask for an actual size.
That's
then that
correct.
will-
And what also you can do then is request from the foundation to supply the monies for your concrete.
Okay. And we can talk about if we want to move forward with concrete or see what the bottom of the shed looks like, just in case we do expand,
Mm-hmm.
because if you, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah,
Well, I think they were really considering a very substantial shed. They wanted to make sure it wasn't something to blow over.
right, because we're putting stuff in there, like Sammy Joe
Mhm.
needs the space. So
Yes,
things are going in there.
right. And
that are-
we need the periodicals and everything else saved.
Right. That need to be waterproof and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, we go.
So Danny, I wanted to let you know, I did find the link for the shelving and I sent it to you. So that's what I just sent it to you just now. That's what Sammy Joe had suggested, so.
What was the
Okay.
cost?
So, but we
Uh-huh.
didn't really know how much, because we don't know how big.
Right. So I think she had done it, she had picked the shelving based on the shed she had picked out, and then the foundation decided they wanted a different shed, so then, but I mean, it's just something, that was what she had submitted. I just sent you what she had submitted.
Okay, they're like $100 a piece. That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Perfect. I was like thinking nothing's $100 anymore.
well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, but that even happened last year, if I kind of report out or back or remind or whatever. So all three branches, we did our pricing for our request. Janet, we got the grant turned in to Lippard Claywitter. By the time we got back that it was approved, and I mean, Marin immediately started looking things up. All prices had gone up substantially just between August and November of 2022. So, yeah, I mean, that's like, we ended up having to get less than we had asked for simply because we couldn't buy all the things we'd asked for at the price points that they were at. So that was part of it. But yeah, that was what was originally submitted, was that shelving that I just sent to you.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thank you. That'll get me closer to what I need to try to explain to the shed guys what we want.
Yeah.
Do you have a director's report, Emily?
I think the main thing would be now, especially with this snow and how it's been, Jens completed that work, that trough, the ditch, whatever we want to call it, redid the sidewalk right there. So if it warms up quickly, this will be a good test to see if that fix is effective. Thank you. I was gonna say fast, but if it works, if it's effective. So, yeah, and then I don't know if it's the foundation that sits down and talks about. I mean, I know the trustees do the strategic plan. Or if the foundation is on that at all, because we have some ideas for here that we want to look at. So I'm not sure which venue is correct for that, but.
So
Anyway.
I know while we did the Big Sandy Library, the board was in with all the meetings with the foundation in order to keep a good discussion and keep all that, so the summarizing and everything. So if that happens, that would be a good time for the board to invite the foundation or vice versa, and then you can go over that with them.
Great, thank you, Janet. That's all that I have.
Okay. So we are going to begin filling the vacant foundation positions. We met, that was Emily and myself and Mr. Pugh. And I don't know, do you have the names that we looked at? Pardon me? I have the names, okay? So, did you get a word back from Bob Quinn, Emily?
So I spoke with him on the phone and he said he would get back to me. And then I texted him a follow-up on Monday. Let me find that. Sorry for not getting back to you sooner. I was going to stop to see you Friday on my way to meetings in Helena, but I was running late and now I'm in California. I think my life is too crazy for me to add one more thing right now. I am sorry to say thank you for asking. That was an honor. I would suggest Jim Ray or Shane Ophis might be good to ask. Thanks. Good luck.
So the people that we had was Rick Jesperson and Bob Quinn, with the addition of Carissa Ray in case that Bob Quinn was not wanting to be on the foundation. So, and the other two are Stacy Bronick and Tamara England, and we discussed those, and we liked the idea that Tamara was young. Okay, so, and same with Carissa Ray, and the other two are Russ Panting and Dean. What's his last name, Emily?
I don't know how to pronounce it, Glawe. Do you know if it's Glawe or Glave?
I haven't met the
It's
gentleman.
Bob Cashaw's brother-in-law.
Okay. So we are, I did have a discussion and I can stay on the foundation because I was appointed till the end of my term. But I have agreed that I will leave the foundation and am hoping that Big Sandy will be representative since both the Lippard and the Clywater, where we get our grants right now, are Big Sandy people. So I'm not exactly sure. I can start by, if you want to write the names down, it's Russ Panty, Dean, Galwe, Carissa Way, Rick Jesperson, Stacy Bronick, or Tamara England. At this point, I don't know if you would like to, each one of you, put forth 3 names, and we will, I will record them to see what votes. Are we all on the same page on this?
No, why do we each put forth 3 names?
Well, do you want then to put the names first and then do the voting? Tracy, is that what? We have 6 people. We need to fill 3 positions.
Oh,
I'm
Whose
sure all-
position are we,
Pardon me?
we're filling my position,
Oh, Wally.
Wally, and
And
then
Janet.
yours and Janet.
Yeah, yes.
And how many candidates do we have that we discussed?
6,
6? So we need 3 out of those 6?
correct.
And do we know if those 6 are interested or not? I
I
mean, that's
know
what
that,
we found. That
yes,
all are interested?
Yeah.
yes.
They are all interested.
Oh, okay.
Carissa Ray was asked in case Bob Quinn did not want to be on the board. And then I believe Danny has talked to Stacy and Tamara, and I'm sure you've talked to the other 2, Emily, correct?
Yes.
I was hoping that they would be there and they could introduce themselves, but I can share a little bit. I mean, Rick Jesperson is on the Big Sandy Town Council. Carissa Ray is a young mother and very highly spoke of. And do you want to talk, Danny, about Stacy Bronick and Tamara?
Yes,
They-
both of them are young also. We can put Stacy in the young one, the young age also.
This is young stuff. Come on.
Well, we appreciate Danny so much. And I think it's really good to we're like Nona said, I'm aged. So to replace with young, vital, enthusiastic people that have their children going to the library.
Can I interject one little thing? Sorry, just so that we're out as we're thinking about filling these. So one of the positions is to finish Waleen's term. And her term was from January 1st of 2022 to December 31st of 2024. So it would be that would be a 1-year
Yes.
position.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to make sure the other 2, if we want, I'm asking if they would be, Rogers, I believe for sure, would be the beginning of a 3-year term. And then Janet, do we want to have the other one be the beginning of a 3-year term?
Yes.
Okay, so that kind of works. So just to go off the bylaws, you can serve 2 3-year terms in a row and then have to take 1 year off and then can serve 1 more. So that would kind of work because this is just would be Rogers 1 year off. So then he would theoretically be able to come back if that
In
was.
theory,
In theory, I'm
In
just saying, in
theory.
theory, well, like to finish Wallings would be that 1 year. So I just wanted to throw that out there, cause it is very, I've had to read through it a lot of times, so.
So does anyone know if any of the candidates are a little hesitant where a 1-year term might be attractive to them versus a full 3-year commitment? I think I talked to Stacy.
I didn't discuss that specifics with Tamara or Stacy, but they both were willing the first time I asked. I didn't even have to
Mhm.
like
Yeah, and
badger.
I did tell them that it was a 3-year position.
I guess I'm moving forward,
Okay, there is,
just to say, like that. Sorry, I'm just trying to read what.
Well, I would say, I've met Stacy Bronick. I think she's a good candidate. And I also think she's far enough from town with enough young kids that she might not mind a 1 year to try it.
okay.
I think
I
she might
just-
be a really good candidate.
I just got word that Carissa wants a 3-year. It was posted on my text.
So I guess if we're each gonna nominate someone, I would nominate Bronick. I think I only know 2 or 3 of the people we're discussing, and I think I've spent the most time with, so she's about the only one I could say I'm qualified to nominate.
I'm kind of ignorant on all the people. I don't know them, so I'm gonna abstain or pass.
And I don't know the other 3. Sorry, were you gonna talk, Emily?
Well, I was,
No.
Tracy said in the chat, Tracy says that, she could explain to us kind of what to do.
Okay, thank you. I just gonna ask her.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you asked earlier, Janet, and then people started asking questions. So the way that you could do this is you could have someone move a slate forward and they would just say the 3 names that they want. And then you can do one of 2 things. In your motion, you can say, like let's say Kim does it. Kim might say, I move that we ask Stacy to serve in the 1-year term, and then to ask Carissa and Tamara to each serve a 3-year term, and then you'd ask for a second and vote. You could also do it one at a time, and then the final option is you could just say, I move to ask them to serve on the foundation board, and then at the first meeting, you would just ask which one of them wants the 1-year term and which ones want the 3-year term. So you can do it either way, where you let the person decide at the meeting, at your next foundation meeting, or you can just do it as part of your motion. You can also take them separately, one at a time, but typically what you do is you just move forward the entire slate unless there's some debate on who you want to have on the board. I hope that helps.
Thank you, it does. So will someone make a motion to move forward with the slate that has been chosen by the committee?
Emily, have you got some feelings on who you've worked with in any of those candidates?
As far as the Welfare Foundation, I think they all seem to be would probably be quite qualified. We talked in our committee meeting that we would hope that, regardless of representation, that the whole foundation wants to do what's best for all of the branches. So I'm hoping that everyone is on that same page. I think Dean and Russ would probably bring, they would have that knowledge. It seems like Dean has been involved with various things like that. And Rick Jesperson too. The others bring that different kind of energy. One of the things that I've been reading through is to look at the diversity of your board, or of your whatever kind of board, and see where maybe where we're lacking, or where there needs to be more representation. And that's with age and life experience and all of those different things. And so, to keep that in mind. So I guess my question logistically, Tracy, is when you say move a slate forward, do you mean all of these, or do you mean we pick 3 to move forward?
So when you're using the term slate, it means you're nominating multiple people at one time, and it would be the 3 people because you have 3 open positions. That's what it means.
So then how do we get to that point?
So you would have someone would, if you know who you want, then someone would make a motion. If you don't know yet, then probably it sounds to me like you need to discuss as a group who are the 3 people that you want to nominate, if that makes sense. You can also, if you know, like you want Stacy, for instance, I'll just pick that because a few of you mentioned her, and you want her for the 1-year term, maybe you should not do the slate. Instead, you should just say, take it each position separately as a separate motion. Slate's kind of nice if you know who you want, because then you can just move it all in one motion. You don't have to have 3 different motions.
I kind of like if we nominate and then we move a slate forward, they can pick who wants the 1 year compared to the 3-year instead of us telling them. I don't know, just kind of, I guess it seems the most courteous.
Yes. Does anyone else have strong opinions on the other 5 candidates? Someone you'd pick out?
I mean, I like Stacy and Tamara both. I would nominate both of them. I think they're fantastic humans, and I think that they would bring a lot to the table.
Since we've been discussing age, I think age should be considered, and possibly even male, female,
Yeah,
because
we
we are pretty heavy on the female side.
And I agree
No
with you,
offense.
Roger, absolutely. I just don't know any of the males. So I
Okay.
feel
Well, I know,
it makes it hard for me to vote for somebody that I don't, or nominate somebody that I
Okay.
don't know.
Understand.
okay. And I just got a text that says, you need some older and experienced. Rich Jesperson would give you that experience. Tamara is even keeled. And both Stacy and Tamara are both young.
I like that we're calling them young. I'm the same age. This is great.
I know, you are.
And then another thing to keep in mind, I was just looking at the dates. So Kim and Danny, you both so kindly agreed to serve on the foundation. Your first term will be up at the end of 2024. So that will be a discussion. You need to think about that over the next year. If you both can serve another consecutive term or take 1 year off for the bylaws. So we're looking at 3 right now. And then potentially, if whatever happens, there would be 2 positions also at the end of next year. But also, if you want to keep serving, you could do that. I just wanted to
touch base on that.
have that all out, like where those dates are lying right now. So,
So
Thank you,
Janet,
Emily.
it sounds like you like Jesperson,
I do.
and Danny, you like England.
I mean,
Tamara.
filling 3 positions with like Tamara and I like Stacy, but I don't know any of the other ones, so I can't give you a 3rd one. Or can only nominate 1. I mean, we need 3, so I feel like we can nominate more than 1 person. But maybe I'm wrong.
in the talking that I've done with Dean, I know there's definitely something to be said for historical precedent, right? People that know the history, but also this would be a chance to get some fresh eyes in the situation. I mean, they've moved into the community, so he has life experience outside of the community. They seem to have really made themselves part of the community, and so to look at it, diversity that way too. Sometimes a fresh eyes on a situation can bring and varied life experience too.
Is he retired military?
I don't know if he's retired military or not.
Okay.
Russ is retired military.
Russ is,
Yeah.
okay.
I know, but I'm not sure about Dean, but that would just be something I would say would be something to think about, is, you know, he might know about different grant opportunities, or he's been a part of different
Okay,
organizations or situations.
that's nice to hear from you, Emily, but we'll have to do this with the board as far as making the nominations. So,
It sounds to me like you almost got a slate. You know, you got three people that are kind of spoke up. Would that be correct? Am I wrong? Sounds like there's three people that were,
I think there's two that Danny and I know, and there's a third that Janet prefers or knows.
mhm,
Some
I
will
know
say.
Russ- yeah.
All right, should we propose a slate then?
Can I propose one?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. My slate would be Rick Jesperson, Stacy Blahnik, and Tamara England.
Tracy, is that a motion we make, or do we have to do that?
Jamie, do you agree with that?
No, I see no problem with that.
how about you?
I'm just the secretary.
Mhm, that's correct.
So, I think Janet is moving those three individuals to fill the open positions, so she would need a second to make it official. And then once you have the second, you could have final discussion, or you can just go to the vote. So someone needs to
Say
second
what you
Janet's
said at the
motion.
very beginning.
Someone needs to second Janet's motion. She didn't say I move, she said I propose, but that to me means I move. So
Okay,
she
Hey, but
moved,
this is for all three positions, right?
right? So she's basically suggesting these three folks to fill the three open positions. So she needs a second,
And
or it will die for the lack of a second.
I'll second. Or I second the motion put forward by Janet Worrell.
discussion?
so does this show representation from all three areas?
I believe it does.
Yeah, so with that slate, it would be two from Geraldine, two from Fort Benton, and one from, but if Stacy's,
Kind of in between.
well, she's out towards Chester, but two from Fort Benton and one from Mid Sandy, yes.
She's Carter.
Or Carter, thank you, yeah.
And we got some old people there?
Me.
No old people.
It's me.
Rich.
You're really at a lifetime. You're a youngster.
Rick Jesperson, please. I know Russ Panting, he's 78. But
So we've got three that have been nominated.
Yeah, now we're doing discussion. And then we hope all three accept, if not, we fill what's left.
they have all been notified.
They've all agreed to serve.
Yes, I'm not sure about Stacy for sure, but I know
Yes, yes, she has.
she has, okay. And
I had a conversation with her.
and Carissa. So I'll put 4 on there then. Carissa, Rick,
Three.
yeah,
We have three, right?
Yeah,
yeah, right now.
Is there a need to have any more than three?
All right now.
I wouldn't think so, since they're all interested. I mean, if you were nominating people that weren't interested, you should have a backup plan, but
But that's what the slate is for, right? You just put forth a slate of how many openings you have.
Correct.
Right.
The slate
Yes.
is, yeah, openings.
Then I'll move to accept I don't know,
I guess we can end
Well,
discussion and
yeah.
Yep. Janet can just call for the vote if there's no further discussion.
So is there any further discussion?
I think we're good.
Who's speaking?
I spoke.
Don't shut that door. I think she's there.
Yeah. We got some noise from upstairs. So.
It's
Oh,
across the-
okay.
They're
Okay.
setting up for their women's club open house in
Oh,
the
okay.
Leash room.
So I know when we had the meeting, Emily said that Danny might be retiring since the Geraldine building was being built. So that's why I put Tamara in. But if she wishes to stay on, I would especially like then to nominate Carissa Ray. So that's.
Well, I
up to
think
you.
we've got our 3 nominations for
Okay.
our 3 openings.
I
Okay,
think we have to move to a vote before we
okay,
do a different
Okay.
slate.
okay.
We can't lose Danny.
No, I know.
2024. 2024.
You can almost taste it.
Do you want to call for a vote, acceptance?
Yes, I thought I did. I would like to call for a vote, please.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The vote is carried. I will make the calls to Stacy, Tamara, and Rick Jesperson, if you wish.
That would be great, but could we also do letters so that we have a written record? That's what I've been running into problems with trying to find terms, is has not been real good record keeping. So you could
Correct.
call them so that they know today, but then, could I draft a letter? I could run that by you, Janet. I could send it via email and then you could approve it or not, and we could send it that way also.
Yes, and then in January, you'll discuss the yearly position for each person.
Right.
Okay. So we
Yeah,
have,
he's making you laugh.
yes.
My husband, he's being silly.
Oh,
Oh,
so do we have any public comments on items that were not on the agenda? Please. These are items that were still under the jurisdiction of the board, but they were not on the agenda. If there is no public comments, I adjourn this meeting. It is
Thank you.
2:51.
Thank you.
Thank
Emily, I
you.
like the new agendas. They look great.
Okay, I'll communicate with you more timely, so it's a lot more than a week next time.
I do like it. I like that. Thank you for reminding me about asking public comment, because I think that's really important.
Great, thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.